Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. And good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. Now, this is Deja Vu, of course. Hi, Daniel. Happy Saturday to you as well. Yeah, Deja Vu, I started talking about this video. I wasn't, anyway, I got called away. If you watch the first part of this, I had to go away and pick up number one son. And so we're going to carry on. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off, just play you the other video, because there'll be some of you that maybe didn't see the introduction, what I was talking about. It's only 13 minutes. So I'm going to play that and then carry on from where I left off. He's fine, Angel. He just needed picking up from work. He wasn't supposed to finish till another hour, but in the end, he had to finish early. They were, it gets a finish time, but sometimes it changes if they're not busy. So that's all. I just had to go and get him. Nothing more than that. So, okay, let's have a look at we start again. We start where we left off with the previous video. Just so that people don't miss the information. Oh, for God's sake. Come on. There you go. Vicky, Marie, and good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. Well, there's not much more crazier, unfortunately, than Sebastian Rogers' case, the drama that goes on between the PIs, the parents, etc. And that's not what I'm going to talk about in this video. I'm not going to talk about the drama. I'm going to talk about a way that you can help to look for Sebastian without even leaving your chair, wherever you are in the world, a way that's been pointed out by Steve Fisher, who's one of the private investigators. He's more, if you like, if you want to call it sides, he's more with the Proudfoots, on the Proudfoot side. And he's released on his Twitter a brilliant way that you can really constructively help to find Sebastian. And that's really what we're going to concentrate on in this video. But weirdly enough, hi Angel, weirdly enough, just as I was about to, because this is a bit of an impromptu live, I'm sorry, I know I do these lives impromptu sometimes, but sometimes I just don't know what time I'm going to have to pick up my son, or what's happening with the dogs, etc. And I've been wanting to actually talk about this for a little while, because I know there's a lot of you out there. You're very concerned about Sebastian. We've all become invested in Sebastian's story. We want a happy resolution. Whether we're going to get one or not is another matter. But I think one thing that everyone's got in common, whether they, are more on sort of, I personally am on nobody's side except Sebastian's. But if I were, everyone sort of veers to one side a little bit. I think it's difficult not to, because it's become so tribal. But whoever you believe, whoever you don't believe, I think one thing that we do all have in common is we just want Sebastian to be okay, to be found one way or another, hopefully in a good way. Now, before I start to sort of talk about Sebastian, because then literally just before, as I decided to do this live, some more news came through from At Night Private Intelligence Agency. So I will be talking about that. But just before I do that, there is something I just want to give you a little update. I'll give a full update tomorrow. The missing persons case in Spain that we've been covering of John George. There is a little development. The police, as I say, I don't know the whole story about what the police are doing, haven't done. I'm not there interpreting. I've offered as an interpreter, but I think they've got an interpreter now. I just hope they're a good one, a reliable one. But apparently the police have been at the apartment where John was last seen. So the police are doing something. I mean, I always knew the police would be doing something. There was no way that they wouldn't be doing anything. But of course, they'll be doing things in their own time, at their own pace, if you like. And anyway, they've been at the apartment today. So when we'll get to find out anything, I don't know. But as far as I know from the searches that have been happening today, John hasn't been found. If tomorrow I get any more news, I'll be giving you that news tomorrow. So just a little update that the police have been there at the apartment. There have been photos of them circulating around social media of the police cordoning off the area. So let's hope that that's some progress one way or another. Okay, so we're going back to Sebastian. So we're going to, first of all, as I say, just a couple of minutes before I was due to come on live, I just decided to come on live. This came through on the Twitter feed of At Night Private Intelligence. Now, At Night Private Intelligence is we've looked at them before, they are the private detective agency who want $500,000 before they will even talk to you on the phone. If you've got a case you want them to help with, before you even get a consultation, you have to put up $500,000. And this is the intelligence, that's one way of calling it. This is the detective agency that Nick the Hat and Dog the Bounty Hunter are involved in. Now, this is their latest post, but I just want to add that just a couple of days ago, God, I lose track of days in this case. There's so many things happen, most of it drama, nothing to do with finding Sebastian. Nick the Hat, who's taken various people to court, apparently, for blackening his name and let's not forget that Nick the Hat, he currently is on parole for he was in prison for spreading misinformation. He can't leave Pennsylvania, I think it is the state that he's in. So he can't go to Tennessee, he can't go. A Dog the Bounty Hunter has not gone there either. I just feel that it's all about publicity, that this is not what I think is a genuine, people genuinely trying to find Sebastian. They probably want to find Sebastian, but it's all a grift. It's complete grift, in my opinion. But anyway, there you go. Who am I? Who knows? But anyway, so Nick the Hat came out on his Twitter or on his YouTube and said he will not be talking about Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers anymore. But of course, he's part of this At Night Private Intelligence. And they have just come out with literally this, about, I think 10 minutes ago, come out with this statement: public update on the search for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, December the 28th, 2024. Dog the Bounty Hunter at Night, along with their partners, remain steadfast in their pursuit of every lead and relentlessly expose all tactics employed to obstruct the investigation into the disappearance of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. So their assertion seems to be that they're being obstructed in their investigation. Sebastian vanished on February the 25th. He didn't. He vanished on the 26th. This is something that finally, other YouTubers have been talking about. I've been saying for so long, on that poster, it says he was last seen on the 26th. It clearly says on the FBI post that he was last seen on the 26th, which has always made me feel that there's a reason that they're not suspicious of Katie, because was Sebastian actually seen outside the house on the 26th? Now, finally, people seem to be picking up on it. I've noticed other YouTubers are picking up on that, but I feel like I've been talking into the wilderness, because people only hear what they want to hear, don't they? People wanting to blame Chris and Katie. That I've had a little sort of Twitter spat with Jennifer Coffin Dodger, because she's been awful to Katie over the Christmas period, so accusatory. And she supposedly used to work for the FBI. She supposedly knows that you can't just cast assertions. You have to at least have some evidence that somebody's done something wrong. So anyway, the thing is, what I've learned since I've been doing YouTube is people only hear what they want to hear. You can talk till you're blue in the face, you can give facts, you can give evidence, but people will scream for facts and evidence, but they only want the evidence that suits what they want to think. If they don't want to think that, and they'll challenge it, and then you'll say, well, where's the evidence? And they, I haven't got any evidence. They don't need evidence. You've got to provide evidence, but they still don't believe you. But they don't need to provide evidence for the rubbish that they're coming out with. But anyway, that's one thing I found on you. There is a bit, do you think it's that people just make their minds up really quickly about things, and then once they made their minds up, there's, that's it. It don't matter what you do, what you show them, they'll never change their minds. It's possible, isn't it? I've seen that. We've seen it with this sort of denial and confirmation bias. It's so strong. It's actually quite scary, I think. Anyway, so now they're saying that... Oh, hang on. Hello? So this, that's where number one son phone. So that's as far as I got in the previous one. So I'm going to carry on now, proper live, if you like. I mean, I was live anyway, I was here, but I was just playing out as far as I got last time. So let's go to where we are now, where I'd got up to. And it's, Shelley, I know, but the thing is, Sebastian was seen outside the house. And also the sheriff has said, you have to listen to what the people that know have said, not what people think because they really want to blame Katie, to actual evidence that people say. And the sheriff said that they've got more information, but they can't release it. He said that. And both the Proudfoots know what this information is, and they're not allowed to talk about it. So this is how it is. Somebody saw Sebastian outside the house, and that's why Katie's not suspect. Don't think Katie had anything, in my opinion. She had nothing to do with Sebastian's disappearance. And until anybody shows me any evidence otherwise, I will stick to that. And the way she was treated by some people like Jennifer Coffin Dodger over Christmas, the things that were being said with no evidence whatsoever, just vile. Personally, I think a mother missing a son at Christmas. Anyway, that's my opinion. So what I'm going to do now is carry on from where we were there. So now what they're saying is, and I noticed that just when I came back on Steve Fisher, the other private investigator that's having this bit of a war thing going on, he's brought this up on his Twitter. But literally, I saw this just before I went to go and get my son. So this is what they're saying now. At night, fraudulent identities discovered. At night has uncovered an individual actively utilizing multiple aliases and fraudulent identification cards to obstruct the investigation. So the thing is, then you've got to think, well, why would they be trying to obstruct the investigation? But anyway, this individual, according to them, so remember, I'm reading this out. I'm not saying this is true. I don't know if it's true or not. Might be true. It might be true. It might not be true. But, that's what people have to make their own minds up about. This individual has attempted to gain employment with ACNI under false pretenses, volunteer to insert themselves into the investigation, pose as fake tipsters to misdirect teams to regions far removed from the true scene of the crime. I mean, who are they talking about? Aliases identified. To maintain the integrity of the investigation, only the first names are being released. Stephen, Mike, John, Heidi, and others. To maintain the integrity of the investigation. I mean, have you ever heard such a big, it's an absolute load of basura, isn't it? Connection to the Proudfoots. Of course, it has to be a connection to the Proudfoots. This individual is employed by the Proudfoot family and is believed to be collaborating with at least one other individual. Through reasonable suspicion, address correlations, and shared workplaces, the following information has been ascertained. Individual 1 admitted to being paid by the Proudfoot family to engage in questionable activities. Individual 2 claimed to be working against the Proudfoot family, but is in fact connected to them, working hand in glove with individual 1. Both individuals are believed to have direct ties to the Proudfoot family and have acted and continue to hinder search efforts. I'm like speechless. I just think this. So this is the detective agency that you've got to pay $500,000 to before they'll even speak to you on the phone. But they're apparently working for Seth. I don't know where Seth got $500,000 from, but apparently this is what they say on their own website. To retain their services, you have to pay $500,000 retainer before they will even consult with you. So, a fraudulent investigator has been identified. Additionally, it's like some sort of comedy film, except it's not funny. Additionally, ACNI has identified an investigator falsely claiming to be from California, but who is in reality a Floridian with ties to shell corporations in California. This misrepresentation appears to be an intentional effort to mislead the public and investigative teams, to divert attention away from legitimate investigative leads. What, like the green hoodie person that was a load of basura? Is that what you mean by legitimate investigative leads? The green hoodie person? Yeah, is that what you mean? Anyway, there's been a violation of NCIC protocols. It's very serious. This individual may have potentially violated National Crime Information Centre protocols by allegedly accessing or possessing privileged materials not authorised for public release, as admitted by the individual. So this individual, whoever they are, they've admitted it. They've admitted it. You know, it's crazy. You know, everyone will have their views, but in my opinion, it's absolutely ridiculous. So, a call for public vigilance. So be vigilant, public. These developments emphasise the importance of transparency and vigilance as we continue to navigate the obstacles in this case. We ask the public to remain cautious of false information. I would agree with that, definitely. Be cautious of false information. Only listen to what the police are saying. That would be what I would say. If the police arrest someone, or if the police say say something, but I wouldn't, what they're saying is exactly right, but why believe what they're saying then? We ask the public to remain cautious of false information and individuals attempting to exploit this investigation for personal or nefarious reasons. What, like $500,000 just to talk to someone on the phone? If you have any information about these individuals or their activities, contact the email at sebastian@manhunts.one, or call DOG, call 833-TEL-DOG, etc. Or you may also contact law enforcement. Well, they're the first people you should contact. So I'd just say, if anybody out there does know anything, the people you should be contacting are law enforcement. Then they say, which still law enforcement has not confirmed this. I don't know how they get away with making these statements, that it's been designated as a criminal investigation. Law enforcement have not confirmed that it's a criminal investigation. Dog the Bounty Hunter said it's a criminal investigation. The sheriff's office has not said this. And in fact, Dog the Bounty Hunter started accusing the sheriff himself of all sorts of things. It's a crackers situation. I don't know how they're allowed to say things like this, personally. Anyway, luckily for Sebastian, Dog the Bounty Hunter remains steadfast in his mission to uncover those responsible for obstructing this investigation and to ensure that all culpable parties are held accountable. Well, yeah, I hope so. I hope all culpable parties are held accountable. So then they go on to say, we deeply appreciate your vigilance and unwavering support. Together, we will relentlessly pursue the truth and bring Sebastian home. Okay, now, of course, we have to give the other side of it. So just as I was off getting my son, Steve Fisher, the other private investigator, he's commented on that. I wasn't supposed to be talking about this at all, but I've got to talk about it because it's just come up. And look at these. I'm sorry, I agree with him completely. If I'm on I'm on Sebastian's side. And if Dog the Bounty Hunter and what he's doing and what At Night Media are doing, at least it's attracting attention to Sebastian's case. But they're giving out false information. They're grifting $500,000. Somebody's paid them to get involved in this case. Who's paid that? It's like, but if it helps to bring Sebastian home, that's all that matters. But so Steve has said, look at these clowns. They're trying to figure a way out of the fraudulent injunction filing, because it gets very confusing. They made an injunction filing that's come to nothing. And now Nick the Hat has withdrawn from commenting in his own right on the Sebastian case because he got too entangled in everything. And this is the best they can do. If there is any truth in this nonsense, I'm assuming it is the fraudulent investigator in Florida, and that must be Andrea Griffin, also known as, Bullhorn Betty. Wouldn't it be great if her own group is her demise? So are they going to now turn on Bullhorn Betty? She's up to her ears in court cases and what have you. I mean, I haven't followed it all religiously because I just think it's all drama that detracts from Sebastian. But as I say, at least it does, I suppose, in another way, it does bring attention to Sebastian. So for that reason, well, fine. Okay, so that wasn't what I was doing the live about tonight. Oh, something that I do want to say is apparently, I don't know if it's true. So Seth has left his home because his home has been put up for rental. So where is Seth living now? You know, Seth is, then people are saying that he's living with TikTok Tony. I don't know if he is. Does it matter? I don't know if it matters. But, you know, it's just, you know, there was a lot of shade cast on Katie when she moved out of the house, because when Chris Proudfoot went back to work, and I don't blame Katie for not staying in that house on her own. I mean, we have to remember Katie's had death threats. You know, so there's a mother whose son is missing and people are threatening to kill her. You know, but we're on no basis of absolutely nothing, except they've got a feeling that she had something to do with it. But there is no evidence. Nobody can give me any evidence of that Katie did something to Sebastian. Nobody. But people will say, oh, well, it's definite, because I just feel like it is, or she must have done. I think it's cruel, to be honest, until you know something. So anyway, when she didn't want to stay in the house on her own, and who can blame her? And now Seth has left the only home that Sebastian would know to come to. So where has he gone, or has he left? Do you know what I mean? This is how it is. So, you know, JLR had put this up on his Twitter. So the other thing is, you know, JLR did a lot for Seth in the beginning, a lot. And he tried to help Seth a lot. And he was more anti sort of Chris and Katie. But I think he's definitely not pro Seth at the moment, because Seth wasn't very nice to him and lots of other YouTubers that had been good to Seth. He's turned on everyone since he's been with TikTok Tony, because, you know, it's all about him and Tony now, isn't it? Now, some people are saying that he's left the state, so he does it because he's got a lawsuit that's being brought against him from a woman who claims that he misused the funds that were supposed to be for Sebastian. So that's a whole nother story. You know, is that true? Is he being sued? According to JLR, he was being sued. Seth is being sued for misusing funds. Is that why he's left? So that he doesn't get served? You know, it just gets more and more sort of intricate all the time, doesn't it? And Steve Fisher says here, hold on. Didn't Jennifer Coffin Dodger, thankfully a former FBI agent, I think he's being sarcastic there, just tell everyone during a dramatic live update about Sebastian Rogers that Katie was suspect because after receiving death threats, she stayed with Chris for a few weeks. She claimed that no responsible parent would leave their residence. This is something that Jennifer said. No responsible, how does she know what somebody would do if their child was missing or whatever? She just doesn't know. You know, she has no clue, and I hope she's never in that position for her sake. In case Sebastian escaped and came home. Now, just 3 days later, we're learning that Seth's apartment is for rent and he's no longer living there. That cannot be correct. Or is there some sort of unspoken 10-month rule after which it's suddenly acceptable to move? Speaking of 10 months, has Seth ever even been in town over the last few months? Or has he been spending most of his time away collecting disability and not working? I'm just going to assume that the realtor accidentally listed Seth's unit for rent, and this is some kind of misunderstanding. After all, why would a father, along with his unlicensed team, be releasing for immediate release reality show scripts. Oops, I mean press releases. You know, this is Steve's opinions. He just poo-poos there, and you've got, you know, I'm sorry, to me too, when I read those things that come out from at night, there could be a script. It could be from something, from some cheesy sort of 70s detectives show. Telling us how hard they and Seth are working from their iPhones on the East Coast, and criticising ground searchers and investigators if the bio father of Sebastian has moved away. By Jennifer Coffin Dodger's own logic from her live a few days ago, I bet Seth would now be suspect number one. Well, for Jennifer, Seth is not a suspect because Seth agreed to be interviewed by Jennifer, which Katie and Chris refused to be interviewed by Jennifer. And personally, I think that's why she doesn't like them. But anyway, there you go. We don't know. So there you go. There's the two sides of it. You'll all make your own mind up what you think or what you don't think. I've long ago given up trying to persuade anyone to see the truth or the common sense in what's going on. Now we're going to get now to what I do, the positive thing that everyone can go along with. What's this? Oh, apparently there's been a new YouTube thing set up in Sebastian's name, and he's moaning about Nick. I'm not going. This is, I think, very useful, and I think I think we can all get together with this. What Steve has put on his X. Let me just come back, make sure you're all right. Hi, David. No. Hi, Tracy. Yeah, so Steve has put on his X. This is like Google. No, this is not my thing at all. So I've not even really tried to look at it. But I know there's some of you out there that are more precise or maybe good with maps and things like that. And if you've got time and that, you know, I just wouldn't have the time to I think you've got to really sit and look over it. But what he's posted, and I wonder if I can actually post the link. I probably can't I? Let me just... I'm back in now. Should be back in the studio now. Let's present again. Sorry. Made a total cock up of that. So I was trying, I think I'll have to post it in description or make a community post because I don't know how to, let me see. There, maybe I can. Let me see. Right, this is the link, but I will put it in the description to this video as well. And it takes you to this Google thing. And make it bigger. And you can go actually into it. So this is the drone mapping of the area where Sebastian is supposed to have disappeared. So, you know, or possibly has disappeared. So you can zoom in. Yeah, you can zoom in. So these must be, is this his house, possibly? You can zoom in on all the areas roundabout. So I think it's really, because I know there are people out there that, you have got good eyes for things, and anything you see that maybe, no, anything that you see that may be suspicious, or, some clothes, anything. Because, of course, these areas have been searched. Is that the retention pond? These areas have been searched. But you know what? It doesn't do any harm to search them again, does it? And there's a few of them, I think. Oh, that made, let's see. Oh, there you go. See, as I say, I haven't got a clue. I haven't got a clue how to use these things. I'm just like playing around. But for anyone who's got a bit of time, maybe, who's got a good eye for finding things like this, is it possible somebody may be able, I mean, it's worth a try, isn't it? It's a positive thing you can do. Obviously, we can't see inside under the undergrowth from drone, etc. But personally, I just think it's a good, it's a positive thing to try and do. So he said this link includes 5 additional drone mapped areas for the search for Sebastian Rogers. Thank you to everyone who's helping search these maps. These areas include locations of interest, as well as linear paths along major roadways near Sebastian's home. While we hope this is not the case, we must consider the possibility of a hit and run involving a vehicle and a pedestrian during the dark of night, which could result in someone being hidden in a ravine or a similar area. Now, these things can happen. I mean, I know it's been quite a long time now, but they can happen. I've known of things happen. Somebody can. I personally think the police think that the garbage truck might have run Sebastian over, or that he might have been in the actual garbage thing or something. I think there's a reason why the police immediately searched that landfill, didn't they? They searched the landfill really early on. In fact, let's just have a look at that. Now, they wouldn't have done that for no reason. So, yeah, we're March the 7th, March the 8th, they made a search of the landfill. So let's have a look at the video.
News alert.
Breaking news in the search for 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers. The Sumner County Sheriff's Office tells News 2 their investigators, assisted by Kentucky State Police, are searching the landfill in Kentucky where trash went from Sebastian's neighborhood. Kentucky State Police confirmed to News 2 investigators are still at the scene at the landfill in Hopkins County. The Sumner County Sheriff's Office says there is no specific information that indicates evidence related to the search for Sebastian may be there. The Sheriff's Office says it is an investigative precautionary measure to eliminate possible options and questions. Let's show you a map of where the landfill is now. It's here on your screen. It's just outside Nortonville, south of Madisonville. Now, it's not clear how long those investigators will be there, but we do have a news crew on the way. Let's catch you up to the timeline this morning. morning on the case. It was Monday morning, February 26, when the Sumner County Sheriff's Office first received a report about Sebastian being missing. A search scaled up quickly, and over the next week, hundreds of searchers combed the area near the family home in Hendersonville. The past Monday that just happened, the Sheriff's Office announced that search was being scaled back, but investigative leads would still be followed. That brings us to this morning, where the Sumner County Sheriff's Office and Kentucky State Police again confirm the search of a landfill in Hopkins County. News 2 will stay on top of all the developments around this case and bring you updates on air and online.
Yeah, so remember that. And, you know, there's a reason why they searched that landfill. Surely there's a reason. You know, I can't understand why they did that if they didn't have some sort of evidence. Anyway, they have said they've got some evidence that they're not divulging. So we've just got to sit with that now. I think all of us in the beginning, when Sebastian first went missing, I think it was a general thought that he would get found pretty quickly, wasn't there? You know, with him having autism, you know, autistic children. I mean, and we have to remember, though, he's a 15-year-old. He's not a little child, but they do sometimes run off and they end up in water. And there's been a few cases since then of that happening. But of course, they searched the, what do they call it, the retention pond. He wasn't in there. That's where the dog, the dog scent sort of went, wasn't it? You know, did Sebastian then go to there and then did he return to the home? Or what, or did something happen to him on the way back to the house? Or, you know, literally we are in the dark to know what. But in my personal opinion, I think whatever happened to Sebastian did happen to him outside the home. There is no evidence that anything happened inside the home because all the, you know, it's been forensically searched as well. So, you know, what has happened to Sebastian inside that home, that and nothing forensic has been picked up. Katie has passed multiple lie detector tests, as has Chris. Even Seth's own mother said, Robin Rogers has said she wanted to make it clear that Katie had passed all the you know, passed the lie detector test. Oh, and another thing, why did Seth not go to his parents for Christmas? You know, Seth has got family. Why did he go to TikTok Tony's for Christmas? Now, we haven't heard anything from Seth's mum, Robin, for a long time. In the early days, she was, you know, out with Seth at the vigils, etc. What's going on there? You know, why didn't he go and be with his family at Christmas? Very strange, I think. You know, there's so much since, and it's got even stranger since Tony got involved. Tony, I'm sorry if anyone disagrees, but it gives me the absolute chills, that guy. There's something very, very strange about that guy. I'm surprised they're still sort of, you know, best buddies after all this time. But one way or another, it must be working for them. But, you know, Tony seems to have isolated Seth from everyone, really, except Nick the Hat and Dog the Bounty Hunter and that. But, yeah, why did he not? Hasn't he got a sister, Seth? He's got a sister. He's got mum and dad. Surely he should have been spending Christmas with them if he's spent, you know, just a thought. So he didn't have to be on his own. He didn't, you know, didn't need Tony to make him feel better. There's a Robin Rogers, as I say, Seth's mum. She has gone so quiet now. Maybe she doesn't agree with what Seth's doing. So these areas of interest that are on these links, I hope some of you, you know, as I say, if some of you have got better eye for detail than me, maybe you've got a bit of time over the Christmas period while you're, you know, or just to look at them. It's always worth a try. And anything you see that you think, oh, that might be it, send it to the police or to Steve, and let them decide then after that if it's, you know, if it's viable or not. So these are big areas. So let's just repeat what it said. So these areas include locations of interest as well as linear paths along major roadways near Sebastian's home. While we hope this is not the case, we must consider the possibility of a hit and run involving a vehicle and a pedestrian during the dark of night, which could result in someone being hidden in a ravine or a similar area. After 10 months, anything is possible, and we must diligently search every piece of land available to us. So it says use the zoom controls within the interface instead of pinch and zoom. You know, that's like foreign language to me. And the imagery will be much more sharp. So there you go. So there's the link there. Let's have another look at it. Is that the link that I shared? There's a few different ones. Oh, see, that's a different one. I'm going to put that in chat as well. But I will put them at the end in the description. I will put them in the description. So, yeah, have a look. So I think, you know, I think as far as law enforcement's concerned, look, so people have been looking at them and they've spotted little bits. Now, I think law enforcement think that something happened to Sebastian outside the home, and I agree with them. So, and you know, the thing is, people can get too. People are so convinced that it's something to do with Chris and Katie, even though if somebody could just give me one scrap of evidence, there is no scrap of evidence. So I'm really not sure why people are so convinced of it. But then I think that when it turns out, hopefully it will come out one day what did happen to Sebastian. You know, hopefully he'll still be alive somewhere, but, you know, it doesn't look positive, does it? But it's possible. I think it would be something completely different to what anyone ever thought. You know, strange things happen, and I think something strange has happened to Sebastian one way or another. And it'll be something, gosh, how can I explain? Like there was a guy lost in Tenerife that everyone was looking for. I don't mean Jay Slater. And he was found years later. He'd fallen down the side. Because of course there was construction work going on, wasn't there, roundabout? But this guy in Tenerife had fallen down the side of a commercial centre where it was being built, and he'd never been found for years. It was years before he was found, and it was just a total freak accident. And nobody had found, you know, people had been searching for him. The police were searching for him. Then, you know, like most cases, then the family go looking, and, you know, there was all sorts of theories about what might have happened to him. And he'd had this accident, drunk probably, because he'd been on a night out. He'd probably had too much to drink, and he slipped down this thing, and they found him years later. Anyway, so I personally think that's what's happened with Sebastian. So then he said, for those that said they were interested in searching more drone mapping areas, here is another area. So I will put all these mapping areas in the, sorry, I'm reading the thing. So people have been looking, picking out areas, sending them. So really, this is you know, I think it's just a good way. May come to nothing. Nobody might find anything, but it's a way that people, whoever they are, whoever camp they're in, they can help to look and see if they can find something. And whoever, you know, can only takes one person to notice something, and it might seem like inconsequential, but it may be the thing that sort of leads to finding out what happened to Sebastian. So is this another different one? Because if so, this is that long hollow pike area. And of course, they did search that, didn't they? They did search the Long Hollow Pike area. Yeah, Michael Mosley was a Greek island. Yeah, and he wasn't found for days, was he? And he was literally just round the corner from the cafe. Though they don't think he was there all that time, do they? Because they think he got lost, went the wrong way, and then finally found his way, and then literally was just a couple of seconds from safety. I think I keep putting the same link up. I don't know, but anyway, I'm going to put all those links in description so people can, if they want to, they can try and do something positive to help in the search for Sebastian. Now, there's another guy that I follow on X. I don't only follow people that I agree with, but there's Burton Staggs. Now, in his opinion, and at the moment they're all opinions because none of us know anything. None of us know anything for sure. Even law enforcement don't know, do they? This guy gets involved in cases and things like that, talking about cases. Now, just want to, this isn't very nice, and I did sort of think about, am I going to show this? But I think what Burton Staggs has tried to say right from the beginning, he thinks that something happened to Sebastian in the woods, an accident or something. And he was trying to say, he's trying to show how difficult it is because, unfortunately, to find a body in the woods, by the time, I'm sorry to say it, I know it's brutal, but animals do, dispose of the bodies quite quickly and they scatter the bones. It's very difficult, especially after all this time, if they're not found instantly. And he's trying to show here. This is a deer carcass after only 72 hours in the wild. Predators, big and small, look at us as the next meal. In the wild, even the local white-tailed deer will take the bones to eat. It's calcium for them. I think we'll go off the picture. But if you wonder what happens to bodies that are left to die in the woods, ask a deer hunter. They don't last long. We're only the next meal. It is so sad, but so it's a miracle really when any bodies are found in woods and things. Quite often they're found by hunters, aren't they? And it may just, and it's the clothes. Clothes don't, well, they'll degrade, I suppose, over time, but they won't, if sadly Sebastian is deceased, which hopefully he isn't, but his clothes will still be in one piece. It's not been that long, has it? But I don't know, so will he be found by a hunter, by somebody who's wandering through the woods with a dog? Or this is what quite often happens, isn't it? That remains are found even years later by hunters with dogs or walkers with dogs, etc. So yes, sad thoughts, but the absolute truth, he says, the smaller the body, the faster it's devoured and strewn. I mean, it's not a nice post, but I understand why he's posting it, because that's what he believes has happened to Sebastian. He believes that he's come to, he made a post a while ago to that sort of effect, that he felt that that some harm had befallen Sebastian, and that one day somebody would stumble over his remains. And this is a reason I think that Katie doesn't go out searching either. I mean, I feel like I would go out searching, but then it's not very nice, is it, to think you may come across the remains of your child. But then could you stop yourself, so... But the main reason I think Katie doesn't go out, I bet she doesn't hardly go out the house, is because everyone hates her so much, because she's had death threats and God knows what. We should be terrified to go out the house. Of course you would. So anyway. Okay, so that's what I ended up sort of, because of all the latest drama that came out about Sebastian Rogers. I will just have a little look just to make sure there's no other news come out. You know, every day we look for news about Sebastian. There was a time when I sort of, let's have a look at this actually. This is a new news report that came out, and they've made a complete cock of it. If it's the one that I'm thinking of anyway. This one. Oh, there is a video somewhere. Hang on. There's a video. Hang on. That's it.
Well, the search for Sebastian Rogers has been one of the biggest mysteries of the year. Investigators have upped the reward money to find the missing teenager. While people have flooded social media with possible sightings, still, Sebastian has yet to turn up.
Sebastian Rogers, 15 years old, was last seen at his Hendersonville home. That was...
So this video came out about 10 hours ago. It's like a summary of the case. But they do, well, we'll see. A couple of things aren't quite right in it.
9 months ago, and his disappearance has captivated Middle Tennessee. This month, social media honed.
Also, first thing that they said about him being 15, but they did not add that he is actually 16 now. He's had his 16th birthday, hasn't he, not long ago.
In on a person in a green hoodie seen on video near Sebastian Rogers at a Hendersonville restaurant.
Yeah. So then they start talking about the green hoodie person who's just been, the green hoodie person was nothing. It was a load of crap from Night Media and Dog the Bounty Hunter just to, I don't know, prove they were doing something for their $500,000. And now they show the restaurant that they're showing is the Cracker Barrel. But it wasn't the Cracker Barrel, was it? It was the Texas Roadhouse. So it just shows you how the mainstream media, I mean, I'm just a YouTuber, so I'm sure sometimes I get things wrong, but, you know, I'm not a professional media person. You think a news, a proper news outlet would get things right.
The night before he went missing, the Sumner County Sheriff's Office addressed the video, writing in part, after a thorough discussion with this individual, there is no evidence linking them to Sebastian's disappearance. When Sebastian went missing February 26 from his Hendersonville home, several agencies spent more than a week searching, including this Kentucky landfill, but no sign of Sebastian.
We are still committed to finding Sebastian and bringing him home safe. We have no leads, no details to indicate that Sebastian is not alive.
In September, Dog the Bounty Hunter joined the search for Sebastian, adding star power and a global audience to the search.
Now that we have Dog's team, he has a whole team of attorneys, lawyers, private investigators.
In November, a possible lead. Someone reported seeing a boy that looks like Sebastian at a Goodlettsville motel.
We understand you reported seeing a boy matching Sebastian's description at the Motel 6 in Goodlettsville.
The Sumner County Sheriff's Office determined that sighting was in fact not Sebastian.
Unfortunately, it wasn't Sebastian, but with that kind of movement and that kind of force, we're going to find Sebastian.
This month, Sebastian...
Yeah, the other thing I don't like about this is they keep showing Sebastian when he was a lot younger. Sebastian was 15 when he disappeared and he'll be 16 now. He will look completely different to that. He'd be taller. He could have a moustache and a beard now. He'll have got, his voice will be, well, I mean, they're not showing his voice, but, you know, he will look different. But on this particular news thing, they only show photos of him because really this is, let's have a look. These are more accurate. You know, this one is the most accurate. This was probably one of the last pictures that was taken of him. You can see he's at that teenager stage where he's going through puberty. Because you could just, you know, that's how they sort of get more gangly, don't they? And their Adam's apple starts to come out, and their necks get longer, and you know, it's a big transition stage between sort of 13 and 18, 19. Massive transition. They change by the day. It feels like every time when they wake up, they're an inch taller. So, you know, this news item, it doesn't really show, Sebastian doesn't look like that anymore, apart from the glasses. So it's a bit disappointing, this.
Would have turned 16. His biological father, Seth, says law enforcement has given him renewed hope that his son may one day be found.
I thank the public for the support that they're giving me, and they continue to. Keep your eyes open. You could be the next person that might see him.
Mark Kelly, News 2.
So they did mention there about him turning 16, but
Well, in November, the reward to find Sebastian increased to more than $200,000. You can report tips to the Sumner County Sheriff's Office or the TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND or your local FBI office. Now, we posted those numbers to WKRN.com.
yeah, I mean, definitely one good thing has been that there's been, you know, because I think a lot of people, including me, we'd stopped covering the Sebastian Rogers case, which not because of Sebastian, of course, but because there was so much drama going on. There's still drama going on, but it feels now like, I don't know, maybe because it's gone, maybe it was because of his birthday and it coming up to Christmas and whatever. And of course, you know, it won't be that long before he'll have been missing a year. Hopefully he'll have been found by then. But yeah. All right, Jean. Now, what you saying there, Mike, about the beach, his school not fully searched, I think that's something. I remember right early in the early days. The trouble is sometimes you see things, and if you don't screenshot it and get it right in that moment, they disappear, don't they? There was something said about I'm sure that I read he was seen near the school, but that's something that's just disappeared. I can't find that anywhere. Let's just have a look. And that's where she went, wasn't it, to look for him, which seems likely to me. Because if you get up in the morning, your son's supposed to be going to school and he's not in the house, you think, oh, because he's 15, remember? So it's not like getting up and a 3-year-old's not there. You would think, oh, has he gone off to school on his own? You know, maybe you normally take him, but it would occur to you, and probably not with my son because he hated school that much. I think he would never go off to school on his own. But, you know, with Sebastian, maybe he liked school. So I can see why Katie, when she woke up, and he wasn't there, may have thought, oh my God, what, has he gone off to school already? Because you just wouldn't, I don't know, you just wouldn't register. I think you can't actually imagine, you know, how you would feel. But, you know, what you would do, what your first thing that you would do would be. Anyway, but yeah, so this Beechwood school, I bet I won't be able to find it because I haven't prepared this. So let's see if I can find something. Thing is, you can bet 100% that the police will be holding something back. I can't really find anything about that. I'd have to look for it properly. We'll have a look at this video just for. Sometimes it's interesting to look at the videos from the beginning, isn't it? Because you forget Let's have a look at this one.
The more eyes that we have out here to be able to locate him will be a whole lot better.
Frustration surfacing in the search for Sebastian Rogers as nearly a month has passed since the 15-year-old with autism went missing from his home in Sumner County. Today, Sebastian's biological father and a group of volunteers searched again near the Rockland Recreation Area in Hendersonville for any clue leading to Sebastian. This, as they say, private tracking dogs alerted to a particular spot this weekend that they say hasn't yet been checked out by law enforcement. County leaders responding, saying that the volunteers need to, quote, trust the process. As the Sumner County Sheriff's Office and TBI scaled back the ground search for Sebastian Rogers to focus more on the investigative side of his disappearance, his biological father, Seth Rogers, continues to coordinate search parties in the weeks since.
Law enforcement only has so many people. So it's us as a community, as well as a family, to be out there searching and to assist as much as we possibly can.
This weekend, a focus on the Rockland Recreational Area, about 6 miles from Sebastian's home, where Sebastian's mother and stepfather, Katie and Chris Proudfoot, believe he walked off in the middle of the night. Investigators saying they found little, if any, trace of the teen. Sebastian's father telling me today that the initial search radius was about 5 miles and that he wants to scour as much area beyond that as possible.
We just want to find Sebastian. That man over there is broken. He needs his son back.
Now, what's happened to Jaden? Now, Jaden, it wasn't Jaden that was he the one that turned up with a gun or something? You forget about these things. Jaden. Can't remember the last time. Where's Jaden gone now? He had a lot to say, didn't he, in the beginning? But we never really see anything about Jaden now.
The man over there is broken. He needs his son back.
Nonprofit search group, the United Cajun Navy, already in town for the Riley Strain case, joined in the search effort for Sebastian Saturday. Searchers telling me 2 of their tracking dogs appeared to hit on a spot.
Yeah, that was another thing, wasn't it? The Cajun Navy or whatever, they went to help because they'd been helping with the Riley Strain case. And then there was a big hoo-ha about that and a big falling out about that, and they just ended up going, there's been a lot of intrigue in this case, a lot of arguments, fallings outs. It's been drama, hasn't it? More than just the disappearance of Sebastian.
When the dog had to hit, everybody got out of the area so law enforcement could come in and do their job. Did they do that? I don't know. I'm not sure. But I feel like it was something that should have been, if not, been checked into.
No confirmation from the Sumner County Sheriff or TBI on whether they followed up on that lead, but a source with the United Cajun Navy says since the land is federal representatives would need to accompany law enforcement on any of their searches, and that could happen this week. Meantime, Sebastian's father and his team are given access inside this warehouse.
Sebastian, son. Dad.
But there are concerns among county officials over the search volunteers about safety, complaints over trespassing, and possibly compromising any kind of evidence or scene that might surface.
And this is true. Oh, God, I'd forgotten about all this drama earlier. I'm glad I found this video. This is how it was, wasn't it? In the beginning, it was one thing after another. And then this Don Schmidt, the Sumner County Commissioner, he actually made a plea for people to leave the search to the professionals. I just got off the phone with Todd Terrell with the United Cajun Navy. Todd said to trust the process. They are the professionals. Leave the search operations to them and law enforcement. Everyone wants to help search. That's great. However, Todd Terrell did mention we can help by letting them perform the searches. So there's a lot of issues about people searching, isn't there? Forensic issues. Because at the end of the day, if somebody did find Sebastian's body, the forensics would have to be there. They could interfere with the forensics. it's a very difficult situation, isn't it? Trusting the process, though. I understand it must be difficult when it's your loved one who's missing. It's difficult to trust the process as they tell you to. You just want to know where they are, don't you? And just unbearable, isn't it, really?
Today, County Commissioner Don Schmidt asking for volunteers to, quote, leave the search to professionals. That did not go over well with many online followers of Sebastian's case or volunteers actively trying to find him.
I'm not going to stop.
Well, TBI did release a lengthy statement just 2 days ago saying investigators continue to follow up on any tips and leads they receive daily, nearly 250 of them so far, and review information as well for Sebastian's case. They said much of the work they're doing to track down Sebastian is not something that you will necessarily see in the public eye.
Yeah.
The Incline Railway.
Yep, that's the problem. It's a if it's police investigation, whether it's criminal or not, we can't see what's going on. Even the family can't see. So, the police have got to keep things to themselves, haven't they? So, anyway. So, if you're feeling like being a bit of a detective, these links that I'm going to put under the video where you can have a search around from the drone mapping that's been done. Have a little look around if you've got a good eye, if you like doing things like that and you've got the time to do it, have a go. And if you find anything, let law enforcement know, or Steve Fisher or whoever's going out searching for Sebastian. Personally, I would always say start with letting law enforcement know, and then if you don't get any joy with them, try other matters, but other ways of sort of, because so the thing is, this boy, he is somewhere. He is somewhere. He's not disappeared into thin air. He's not been beamed up to the Starship Enterprise. This boy is somewhere. Now, it may be that somebody knows where he is. Foul play might have befallen him. Or it may be that there's some accident happened. Or it may be that he is being kept somewhere. I hope that he is being kept somewhere by somebody, because that's the best case scenario, isn't it? That the whole thing is a scam and he's just, sat playing his Xbox or whatever. I hope so. I wish that was the case. But, he's got such a sweet little face, hasn't he? You feel like he's I don't know if he was like an innocent or not, but you feel like he was. He's got that look about him. I don't know. Hi, Sebastian. Where are you? Now, I've had it's funny because I didn't dream about Sebastian for ages. And then just over the last week, I've had loads of dreams about him. I always dream that he's running. I dream that he's running through the woods. I've had that dream quite often, but then the other night I had a dream it was a horrible dream, to be honest, that, I wouldn't like to. In fact, I'm not going to repeat it because it wasn't a positive dream, let's say, about what happened to Sebastian. But, not that it means anything. It's just that it must be on my mind a lot for me to dream about him. Because for all these months I haven't, it just feels like over the last week I've dreamt about him a lot. Maybe he's trying to tell me something. Don't know. Anyway, okay, thank you for watching. I'm sorry the first one got put off, but I've managed to say what I wanted to say now. I hope you're all enjoying the festive period. We've got New Year coming soon. Where am I? I don't even know what day it is. A Saturday, isn't it, today? So yeah, another few days it'll be New Year, and it'd be nice to get some news by then. Anyway, I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back with an update about other missing people that we've been talking about. The more you look into just so many people missing, and obviously Sebastian's case has sort of gripped the world, really. But so many other people out there missing that don't get the same attention. So it's good that he's got this attention. And, you know, for that reason, I'm glad Dog the Bounty Hunter's got involved, because if nothing else, you know, it has attracted even more attention to Sebastian's case. Okay, I'm going. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and until I see you again, may your God, as always, go with you. Please remember to like or leave your DNA on the like button. And if you're not subscribed, maybe you'll consider subscribing. Thank you so much. Bye.